Sam here from Sheridan Computers, and in this video I'm going to show you how to install the latest version of FreeBSD as of the 13th of January 2026. So that's FreeBSD 15. We're going to be doing this on the Hetzner virtual private server. Now out of the box, Hetzner doesn't provide an easy way to install FreeBSD, just not a choice of operating systems to install. So there is an easy way around it, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Now this video isn't sponsored by anybody, it's just me sharing knowledge. So we're going to walk through how to install FreeBSD 15, I'm going to show you how to secure it using PF Firewall, and then we'll take a look at SSH authentication, how to authenticate with SSH keys, and how to disable passwords. This is going to be a clean baseline to build on for FreeBSD, and it's kind of perfect. For example, rather than using a public VPN provider, why not roll your own? Well, that's probably what we're going to take a look at in a future video, but for now, let's head over to Hetzner and get started.
Sheridan Computers, IT, Communications, Support.
Okay, so we're going to want to log in. I'm already logged in, so I'm just going to head to the console. And projects are a way of grouping your servers together, and I do like the way that they do this. So do new project, and I'll call this YouTube demo. So we've created our project, and now we're going to choose our server, so create a server. So these cost optimized ones are like really good prices. It says older hardware, but for VPNs and things like that, they're just really good value for money. So if we choose cost optimized, and we can see the prices here, CX23, 2 virtual CPUs, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and 40 gigabytes of SSD storage, and we'll get 20 terabytes of bandwidth per month for €299 a month. That's just amazing pricing. The CX33s, 4 virtual CPUs, 8 gig of RAM, 80 gigabytes of storage, and 20 terabytes of bandwidth per month for €5. So you can't really complain at these prices. Then they've got the regular ones. The prices is not much higher. So CPX22, 2 virtual CPUs, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 80 gigabytes SSD storage, and 20 terabytes of bandwidth per month for €6 a month. And then the general purpose ones, we've got 2 virtual CPUs, 8 gig of RAM, 80 gigabytes of SSD storage, 20 terabytes of bandwidth per month for €12 a month. So for this demo, I'm just going to go ahead and select the basic one. So I want CX23. Then we need to choose the location where we want it. So Helsinki, that's fine for purposes of this demo. Then we want to choose the operating system that we want to install on it. And because we're going to be putting FreeBSD on it, it doesn't matter which one we choose, but there is no option for FreeBSD. So I'm just going to choose Debian. And then the rest we can leave right for now. And then we're just going to create and buy now. So you can see the total price on this. €3.50 a month. So create, buy now. And just let it create the server. It's that quick. We can see we've got public IP assigned to it. So this is how to install FreeBSD, not how to install Debian. So let's fix that. Choose the server. And then we want to go into rescue. ISO images. And if we type FreeBSD in, it does actually have FreeBSD images. And it's got the latest FreeBSD 15. So I'm going to mount that image. And now, if we go to power, I'm just going to power cycle this. Yep, power reset. And I'm going to pull up the console. And you can see it's rebooted off the image straight away. So let's go ahead and do the FreeBSD setup. So just because of FreeBSD option isn't there for the operating system, it's still quite easy to set up. So we're going to choose install, and this is the first time I've installed FreeBSD 15. And choose a key map. So English United Kingdom. Just give it a host name, YouTube demo. Now this is different. Would you like to install a base system using traditional distribution sets or packages? I'm just going to do traditional distribution sets because the packages says tech preview. So we'll do distribution sets, choose what we want. So default options are fine, okay. So some installation files were not found on the boot volume. This is just because of the image type, so we need to download them. So choose the network interface. You can see we've got VT-Net0. It'll acquire the IP address from here, and then we can download what we need from the internet. Not sure why it went off then. If it does that, just click connect again. So we're going to choose Auto ZFS. Swap size, I'm just going to change this to, what do we have in here for? So I'll set it to 8 gig of RAM. If you want to set up encryption or anything like that, you can do, but it's going to be a bit of a pain when you're rebooting, having to log into the console to do that. So all I've changed is swap size to 8 gig, and now we're going to continue. Stripe, because we've only got one drive. Yes, we're going to destroy the contents of the drive. And as I say, because we've not got the FreeBSD files on this image, we need to download them. So just choose the default one. I'm not speeding any of this up. This is literally as fast as it goes. It takes that long to install. So set yourself a password for root. Set the time zone, so I want Europe. And then United Kingdom. Yes, that looks fine. The date's fine. The time's fine. You might want to enable NTPD, so it sets the time when it starts up. I'm going to just turn off dump dev. I don't want that. Then I'll just leave these. Actually, we can set clear temp. And secure console. That's just if we boot into single user mode, it's still going to need a password. Would you like to add any users? So we can do this bit now. Leave the UID, give it a group. Any other groups, put it in operator video. Login class is default. Use the default shell. Home directory is fine. Just leave all this. Don't want a random password. Put a password in. And that's it. We're pretty much done. So this installation is now finished. Before exiting to the installer, would you like to open a shell in the new system to make any final modifications? I'm going to choose no here. You can, if you want, to put your SSH keys in, but I'm just going to leave that for now. So let's reboot. I want to unmount the ISO. Let's give it a hard reset. I removed the ISO too quickly. So power cycle, power reset, pull console back up. And we are now good. We have FreeBSD installed. So I should be able to copy this IP address. And now we should be able to SSH into that. The key. What password did I set? And now we're in. So I'm setting this up for some future demos, as I mentioned, but it's pointless. We might as well firewall it and secure it off. So what we're going to do is go into a root with whatever password you set, and then let me just install an editor. So the first thing we'll do is update the system. So I know FreeBSD 15 has a new system, but I'm still using the old one because the other one was in tech preview. So we're going to FreeBSD update fetch. So we have got a couple of patches to apply. So when this comes up, I'm just going to press Q to quit out of it. Then I'm going to do FreeBSD update install. Okay. So we're going to want to install package. So package update. Yep. So I'm leaving it on the quarterly. There's two types of packages, FreeBSD, quarterly and latest. So the latest are obviously the most up-to-date ones, but the quarterly are the most stable ones. Okay, so package upgrade. There shouldn't be anything on the system, I don't think. No, we're good. So Control L to clear the screen. Right, so we need to enable the firewall. So I'm going to create the file first, just so we can check everything works. So I'm going to do package install mvim. It's not called mvim, it's called neovim. You can use VI or the editor of your choice. Right, so let's go into etc. and create a file called pf.conf. So /etc/pf.conf. And I'm literally just going to put in pass quick all, which is pretty much what we've got at the moment. So let's enable firewall. I'm going sysrc pf_enable equals yes. And then we can do service pf start. So our firewall rules are in /etc/pf.conf. So we just passed quick all. Now to test your rules, so you don't lock yourself out, you need pfctl -nf and then the file name, and that'll just check the config that it's fine. Once the config's right, so I'll get used to doing this, once the config's right, then you can actually load it with the -f. And that will actually load your rules in. And we can check the rules by doing pfctl -s rules. So you can see there's our pass quick all rule. So that rule is not much use. It's just allowing all traffic in. So if we do ifconfig, it should be vtnet0. And it is. We can see vtnet0 is our interface. So I'm going to go back into the file. So pf.conf. I'm just going to delete this. So we're going to define some macros just to make it a little bit easier. So first off, we're going to do external interface equals vtnet0. So we don't have to type vtnet0 all the way through the file. I'm going to set an option here to set skip on lo0. So what that basically does is skip rules on loopback interface. Now what I want to do is block in on $external interface. So make sure these are right. So that's now going to block all traffic into our VM. But what we need to be able to do is access it ourselves. So we can create another macro here, or alias, whatever you want to call it, for our IP. And then put your IP in here. Just do 10.1.10.10.2. Obviously, this is going to be your external IP, if you do have an external IP. Not the external IP address of the virtual private server. Your IP address so you can get into it. If you don't have one, you can set up Tailscale or something like that. I'm not going to do that in this video. That's part of what this VPS is for, though. So where we've got our IP, I'm going to put my external IP address in there so I can SSH back in. Right. So we need to set up some rules. The only one we've got is block in everything on external interface. So let's set up a rule to allow some traffic in. To allow traffic inbound. And here, I'm just going to put pass in quick on, and then external interface alias or macro that we set up. So pass in quick on external interface. And then went protocol TCP from $our IP to, and then the external interface port SSH. So what we're doing here, this allow rule, pass in quick on $external interface, which is VT-net0, protocol TCP from our IP to external interface port SSH. If you don't have an external IP, you can put any in there and that'll open it, so any traffic can hit port SSH and will be allowed in. So I'm just going to do that for the time being to save me typing in my external IP address in. Now we also need to allow traffic out. Now you can be a bit more specific with this. I'm just trying to lock this down to prevent a bit of abuse. So what we'll do is pass out on $external interface from any to any. So that's just allowing any traffic out. And we can test those rules with, like I said, PF CTL -NF. Always get used to checking your rules. Sector pf.conf. So macro ext if not defined. So this is why I mean it's always important to test your rules before just executing them. So let's go and fix that. What was it? It's this one here. Put lowercase I instead of capital. So save that, and then we do it again. So the rules are fine. So if I do pf ctl -f, and then etc pf.conf, the rules are now loaded, and that firewall is active. And I've locked myself out. That's clever of me. Right. Let me close that one. See if we can SSH back in. So SSH Sheridan at, let me get the IP address of it. Networking. You can just click on that to copy it. I like the way they've done this. See if it lets me back in. Yeah, so we're good. What password did I set? Right. So that's why I said test your rules first, because if anything goes wrong, you can lock yourself out. And now we can ensure those rules are working by doing, let me get back to root. PF CTL -S rules. So now we can see the firewall rules are active, blocking in everything. And then we're passing in IPv6. We're passing in IPv4 to SSH. And then we're allowing everything out. If you don't want to allow IPv6, we can edit the rule again. So mvim user, etc. pf.conf. And we can make this a bit more specific if you want. So I'm going to copy that line and paste it. And just after here, before proto, we can put inet, and that will allow IPv4. And then inet 6. I think I put it in the right place. Let's test the rules. Yeah, so what I actually want to do is comment this out, because I don't actually want to allow IPv6 traffic in. So just comment that out for now. -nf, test the rules. Always get used to these rules and load them. Well, this time it's not locked me out. We can check those rules again by doing pfctl-s rules. Now we can see that the IPv6 rule is gone, and we've just got the IPv4. So if you've got this far, that's your machine pretty much locked down. Okay, so like I said, I have a external IP address, or you can use a VPN IP address, whatever you want to use. So I'm going to go and edit my rules again. So this VTNet0, I hope you can see why we created the alias external interface for VTNet0. Otherwise, we would have had to type VTNet0 here, VTNet0 here. We'd have to type block in on VTNet0, pass it out on VTNet0, so it just makes it a lot easier. And let me change this to an IP address that actually works. So if I do so I've locked that down to a specific IP address, and again, we're just going to do test the rules, and then load them. Now, I won't be able to SSH into this because I'm not from the right IP address that I've just put in the firewall. Yeah, it is. My fault is because I left it set to any. So let me just go and change that. So I left this rule here, pass it in quick on external interface, and left it to any. So we're just going to change that to that alias RIP. And now we do that again. Rules are fine. Problem with doing things before practicing. Right, okay. So we've loaded the rules, and now I shouldn't be able to SSH into it. We're locked out because that's not the IP address that I put in there. But let me copy this. I should be able to get in from this machine. So this is another VPS that I set up just for playing about with this. So this should actually let me in. Oh, and that's not either. Now we seem to have locked ourselves out. What did I do that was wrong? So the good thing about this is we are locked out. Why isn't it letting me in? Probably putting a mistake on the IP address. Let me double check this. Let's go into the console to fix it. Hey, it's all learning curve. So we can get back in as root. It lets me in. VIV, etc. pf.conf. What is the IP address of this machine? Let me double check that. Okay, let's do that again. SSH keygen ed25519. Okay, so this is what we wanted to do. Right, so we've generated the key. So now we can do ssh-copy-id Sheridan at an IP address. No keys found. This is a FreeBSD thing. You don't have this problem with Linux. Tries a FreeBSD. SSH agent, can't remember, yeah. Bin SH. No, SSH. SSH add? Yeah. Right. Now we should be good. No, come on. That's not what I tried to do. I want SSH, I want to copy the key. That should now work. And there we go. We have SSH working, but the last thing we need to do regarding SSH is to lock it down. So we don't want people to be able to use passwords against it, just our key. So let's get back to root. And we need to edit etc ssh sshd_config. What we need to find in here. Public key authentication set to yes, so we can just leave that as it is. Password authentication, no. Right, so this KBD interactive authentication, we need to set it to no. You can see the description here. Change to no to disable interactive keyboard authentication. I think that's all we need to change. Save it. Let's restart SSH. Okay, so if we try and log in, that's fine. Now, if I delete SSH ID star, and then we try SSH again, denied, and it's not asking for a password. So that's SSH lockdown as well. If you'd like to see more FreeBSD videos, I'll leave a link at the end of this video. Feel free to go ahead and watch them. Consider subscribing to the channel, hit the notifications icon to get notifications of any new videos as they are released. If you found this video useful, please give it a like. It certainly does help the channel. And if you'd like to hire us for any FreeBSD consulting, head across to SheridanComputers.com.